possible donation to the common good. Now, these are about all the things that are worthwhile doing, and yet these are not the things that the average person is doing. Now, this problem of responsibility does not interfere with personal happiness or well-being. Man is capable of being happy. It's very unlikely that animals have any great sense of unhappiness or happiness. Some of them probably have a contentment when they are able to have sufficient food and their little families and broods are in good order. Man, however, has a capacity not only to organize his life, but to be happy in many of the things that he can do. But he must also measure happiness. What does it take to make him happy? If happiness demands that he injures others, then he is in serious trouble. If happiness means that he must waste his own potential and lose health and mental and emotional integrities, then he is wrong. Happiness has to arise from order, from things being done correctly in their own way, purposes being fulfilled, and the individual rejoicing in his adherence to those principles which are sound and proper. So we have now this little difficulty that comes along in our affairs, the problem of trying to see what we can do to get some of these mistakes corrected before they become too dangerous. Now, there is hardly any person, for instance, today that doesn't realize the dangers of alcoholism. He knows these things. He also realizes that he reads in the papers now almost every day warnings against cigarette smoking. Now, animals don't have any such warnings because, of course, they don't do these things. But man, having done them and having the warning, makes a decision. If he decides that his own pleasure is more important than the warning, and the risks he takes are more than justified by the results of his own achievements, then he will probably keep on making these mistakes. And then one day, the axe falls. Something happens that he cannot any longer avoid or evade, and he discovers that he has wasted a life. Now, how can we assume a mature people to maintain institutions, organizations, procedures, policies, attitudes, and systems that they know are not right? There again, there has to be a compromise, because the person is firmly of the belief that what he is doing is affording him immediate comfort, immediate success, immediate happiness, and immediate personal satisfaction. Therefore, the immediate takes precedent over the eminent. That which is now is the only thing that becomes important. If he can be happy or think he is happy now, he has fulfilled life. No way can this be regarded as a symbol of maturity. The individual may be well along in years, maybe with white hair and long beard, but if he is not thinking, if he is not working to do something of value to himself and others, he is not growing more mature. He is simply becoming gradually older and more infirm. And the most infirm person can be the one in 100% good health, but with nothing inside but a vast ignorance. The individual does not become mature because he copies the delinquencies of older people. He is not developing any values. If things which are not valuable amuse, entertaining, and to satisfy his life, this doesn't mean he has to go around with a long face, nor does he have to wander about in a state of constant overwhelmed responsibility. These are not the problems. But he must, to be truly happy, be useful, constructive, and enjoy as much good health as possible. The moment health begins to deteriorate, happiness vanishes also. And most people who have achieved certain physical success, if health fails, find that they are very, very poor. So it becomes necessary for each person to prepare a concept of maturity? Well, we can say for one thing that maturity is the ability to live one's life constructively. It is the right to be right. It is the right to do those things which are the greatest good to all concerned. Maturity is thoughtfulness.
Belief, if you will, that then allows you to create an effect which reinforces that belief, reinforces that truth. So we speak about belief resulting in emotions, resulting in thoughts, resulting in actions, and the actions in a physical reality, creating the reality, allowing the circumstances to, so to speak, move into place. You truly do not have one belief and not have the opposite belief, and must get rid of one belief and get the other one. For again, as I have started out by saying, you contain it all. It is all within you. So were you to get rid of something, where would you put it? Were you to gain something, where would you gain it from? There is no outside unless you are assuming that there is. Through that belief, feeling that there is, thinking that there is, acting that there is, and then reinforcing that particular truth, that there is or can be an outside. This is the degree of your great power to create your reality. Therefore, because you contain all beliefs, it is not a matter of utilizing an emotion, for instance, to decide which belief you have. Because as I have said, you have all beliefs. What it determines when you trace backwards is which belief you are expressing from the infinity of beliefs that you contain. So when I say belief results in emotion, emotion results in thought, and thought results in action, you can also trace backwards. You always act as though you think, as though you feel, as though you express a belief. And the understanding that you contain all beliefs and express but perhaps one, which brings along with it several others at a time, allows you in your power to gather yourself back to understand that it is really quite simple to simply change your expression. For it is not that you need to get a new belief, you have them all. So if you feel something, an emotion, it is the result of which belief you are expressing in that moment. That is why you feel a particular way in any given moment. Feelings do not exist within a vacuum. You do not just feel that way just because. You can label it that way. You can create an appearance such as that. But if you decide that you wish to establish who you are consciously, to be who you are consciously, you can use these things, emotions, thoughts, and actions, as a mirror or a reflection for the belief that you are expressing. You create your reality in a particular way. You express a belief, feel as though you believe it, think as though you believe it, act as though you believe it. The actions create the reality. The actions reinforce the belief that you are expressing. But we will simplify this still further. In any given moment, you simply decide who you are. You make a decision. Sometimes based on the fact that you feel there is no other choice, and other times understanding that there are many choices. But once you decide who you are, you feel that way. You think that way. You act that way. Another way to put this is when you have decided who you are, you trust in that decision. And then you act as though you trust in that decision. I have presented this particular delineation before. The reason being because it is quite useful. This is how you are already doing it. And when you say and understand that you make a decision, this implies there are other choices. This implies that you can decide something else. This is where you can express what you refer to as free will, but only if you first acknowledge that you have something to do with the process, that you, in and of yourself, are involved in the process of creating your life. We have briefly discussed three.
I was pretty impressed with his casual on-site of Gin Palace. I thought that was nice to watch.